Welcome back to English from A to Z. So, if you're tackling the English language, you've probably been there. You're trying to talk about a special day, a holiday, and you kind of hit a wall. You get past the basic greetings, and then you just need something more natural, more descriptive.
Exactly. You need the phrases that actually capture the moment.
And that is absolutely our mission for this deep dive. We've gone through a guide designed to help you talk about Christmas Day in English, and we are pulling out all the key components. We're talking useful vocabulary, simple sentences, and those natural expressions that build real confidence.
Right. And it's important to say this deep dive is less about what Christmas is, culturally or historically. It's more of a linguistic framework. We're giving you a narrative model that you can take and, adapt to describe your day, whatever that looks like.
Okay, so a model.
A model, yeah. We'll cover everything from that morning excitement to the evening traditions
Mhm.
and, crucially, the words you need to describe the feelings and the atmosphere.
Let's do it. Let's unpack this with the essential vocabulary toolkit. To start any conversation, you really need to set the scene. And that means the timeline. So the first basic distinction is Christmas Eve, that's the night before, and Christmas Day, December 25th.
And that might sound really basic, but using those terms correctly in context is where confidence starts. Then you have the physical items that, anchor the day. Let's start with presents or gifts.
Okay, so are those just interchangeable? Or is there a nuance there?
That's a great question. Linguistically, they are pretty much interchangeable, but presents often feels a bit more conversational, more domestic.
Yeah.
Gifts can sometimes sound a little more formal. So for what's under the tree with the family, I'd say stick with presents. It just sounds a little warmer.
Good to know. And the decorative items?
Well, you have the Christmas tree, obviously, the centerpiece.
Yeah.
And then the things you hang on it are called ornaments.
Using ornaments instead of just decorations feels more specific.
It does. It immediately sounds more advanced, more natural.
And what about that very specific item, the stocking? For someone who's never seen one, how do you explain that?
The guide has a perfect, concise definition. A long sock hanging by the fireplace. That's it.
Simple.
But you should also add its function, that is filled with small gifts or candy. People call those stocking stuffers. Giving that context makes the word click instantly.
Fantastic. Okay, physical scene is set. Now for the part that I think is really key for fluency, the atmosphere.
Yes, this is where it gets good. It's not just listing objects.
Right.
The guide gives us two really powerful terms. First, holiday spirit. That's the warm, happy feeling of the holidays.
So it's a noun phrase, like I can feel the holiday spirit.
Exactly like that. It refers to the mood itself.
And the other one was the adjective, festive. The guide says it means happy and full of holiday feeling.
Yes, and here's the trick to using it naturally. You usually use it to describe a setting, not a person.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we don't really say, I feel festive all that often. It's more like, the house looks so festive, or there's a festive atmosphere.
So it goes with words like lights, music, that kind of thing.
Precisely. It describes the environment. And that's a huge step up from just saying the party was happy. Saying the party was festive is so much better.
That's a great insight. And what about the social terms? Family gathering and tradition.
Crucial. Family gathering is the noun for the event itself. We're having a family gathering. And tradition is, something you do every year. These words help you explain the why behind everything.
Okay, so let's move from the setup to the actual action. Let's build the Christmas morning narrative. The guide breaks it down into these really simple core actions.
The building blocks.
Exactly. Waking up early, feeling excited, opening presents together, saying Merry Christmas, all that good stuff.
Taking photos, drinking hot chocolate, the classics.
Right, and you can start just by listing those. I wake up early, we open presents.
But the goal is to move past that, to sound more natural.
So how do we do that?
You integrate the vocabulary we just talked about. So instead of just saying, I feel happy, You use festive to describe the environment. My house feels warm and festive.
Ah, so you're making the atmosphere part of the action.
You are. And another great example from the guide is we talk, laugh, and enjoy the morning. See how that's so much better than just we open boxes.
It's about the shared experience.
Absolutely. It's action verbs, talk, laugh, enjoy framed by these quality adjectives like warm and festive. You're building a real narrative.
Okay, but here's a challenge. What if your family traditions are different? What if you don't drink hot chocolate or open presents in the morning? Does a model still work?
That's a really good point. And
Yeah.
yes, it absolutely still works. The guide is giving you a structure, not forcing the content.
So you just swap things out.
You just swap them out. If you eat a special breakfast, you say, we enjoy a traditional breakfast of whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
The framework of wake up, shared activity, food or drink, that stays the same.
Use the structure, customize the content. I like that.
Ex-
Okay, let's transition to what is, for many, the heart of the day. The food. The big Christmas dinner.
Hmm. And what's interesting here is that language about food is almost always about relationships.
How so?
Well, the guide lists the typical food, turkey, chicken, potatoes, vegetables. And those are great reference points.
And the desserts, of course. Cookies, cake, pie. Then it gives you that super simple assessment. Everything tastes delicious.
Which is brilliant for a learner. You don't need fancy words. Under pressure, delicious, works perfectly every time.
But you're saying it's about more than just the menu?
Yes. The truly natural expressions are about the collaboration. The guide gives us, it's a special meal we enjoy together.
Emphasizing the together part.
Right. But my favorite phrase here, the one that sounds so natural, is everyone helps in the kitchen.
Oh, that's a good one.
That one phrase just transforms your story. It's not, we ate turkey. It's, we made this meal as a family. It shows teamwork, participation. That's what people are actually interested in hearing about.
That's a really key insight. So after the meal, we move into the evening. We need words for relaxation and tradition.
Right. And the guide has a whole list of typical evening activities.
Watching Christmas movies, listening to Christmas music.
Playing games, visiting relatives, taking a walk to see the lights.
And of course, for families with kids, kids play with their new toys.
But here's the thing. Instead of just listing all that, the guide gives us two fantastic summarizing expressions. Conversational shortcuts.
Okay, what are they?
The first is, the whole day feels relaxing and joyful. The second is, we love spending time together as a family.
So you use those to kind of wrap up the description of the day.
You do. They capture the overall tone perfectly and let you transition smoothly to the next point.
Which would be traditions. How do we talk about those annual customs?
The key is an anchor phrase. It's our family tradition. If you start your sentence with that, everyone knows exactly what you're talking about.
So you state that first.
You state that first, and then you follow it with the action. It's our family tradition to decorate the tree together, or to bake cookies. It's a really simple, powerful two-part structure.
I can see how that would be easy to customize.
And then, to connect it all to a deeper meaning, the guide points out the core values. Christmas is a time for family, kindness, and gratitude.
The why behind it all.
Exactly. And you can summarize your intention with a simple phrase like, we try to make the day special. It connects all the actions back to that emotional goal.
Speaking of emotion, that's the final piece of the puzzle, right? Describing your own feelings.
Absolutely. If you can't talk about how you feel, the story is just a list of events. It feels mechanical.
So what does the guide suggest?
Gives a few options.
Right.
The simplest is, Christmas makes me feel happy. Can't go wrong with that.
But we can do better.
We can. For a bit more nuance, you can say, I feel peaceful and relaxed. Those words suggest a lack of stress, a nice calmness.
And what about appreciation?
That's a critical one for sounding more mature. I feel grateful for my family. The word grateful is so much stronger than just happy. It shows reflection.
And to wrap it all up,
A definitive statement, it's my favorite holiday. Or you can circle back to that atmosphere word we learned. I love the warm holiday atmosphere.
okay, this is great. We have all the pieces. Now for the synthesis. The guide provides a full model paragraph that ties everything together.
It does. It shows what the target looks like. It flows like this. On Christmas Day, I wake up early and spend the morning with my family. We open presents together and take photos by the Christmas tree. Later, we prepare a big Christmas dinner with turkey, potatoes, and cookies for dessert. In the evening, we watch Christmas movies and relax. Christmas is a special day for us because we enjoy our traditions and spend time together.
I love how clear and chronological that is. It starts with the morning, moves to the meal, then the evening, and ends with that core emotional takeaway.
It's a perfect scaffold. It's efficient, it's coherent, and it uses all the tools we've been talking about, from simple actions to those bigger concepts like tradition and spending time together.
Okay, so to help you practice this right now, we're going to ask you the practice questions from the guide. Try to answer them out loud, maybe using one of the new words we covered. First, what do you do on Christmas morning? Try to use a collaborative verb like share or enjoy.
Next, what do you eat on Christmas Day? And when you answer, think about describing the shared effort, not just the list of food.
What are your family traditions? Remember that anchor phrase? It's our family tradition too.
And how do you feel on Christmas? What's the atmosphere like? Try using festive or grateful.
And finally, who do you spend the day with? See if you can use the term family gathering in your answer.
If you can work through those questions using the language we've discussed, you're there. You're ready to talk about your Christmas Day naturally and with real confidence.
So to recap, we've distilled the key vocabulary and the structured phrases you need to really articulate that experience.
We have. You've got the tools for everything, from the ornaments on the tree to the gratitude you feel in your heart.
And now, for a final thought to take with you.
The guide gave us that really clear narrative structure. Morning, then food, then evening activities, and finally, feelings.
Right, a four-part structure.
So here's the challenge. Think about how you could take that exact framework, morning, food, activities, feelings, and apply it to a completely different special day from your own culture, something that isn't Christmas at all.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Which words from our list today, words like tradition, festive, or family gathering, which of those could you adapt to describe that other celebration?
Think about that. Apply the structure, adapt the vocabulary, and just keep practicing until it all feels second nature. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.